Good morning. It's morning for me anyway. It's Saturday morning here in Palmer, Alaska. I thought I'd do a little news update here on some things I was reading. There's been a bit of a controversy over this whole English only or knowing English to get a commercial license here in the States. I don't understand why anyone's against this. Except maybe they've got some political agenda or they don't like the president or what. Look, I don't care what your feelings is about the president. You can like him, hate him, doesn't matter. But you got to know English. You got to be able to read English. You got to be able to comprehend English to drive an 80,000-pound truck on American highways. That's just the way it is. And I'll give you a perfect example. Right here. Let me put on my glasses because I'm blind. Truck driver arrested for driving semi-truck through back nine of golf course. Right? This was on CDL Life. I'm going to read this to you. This was in Columbus, Ohio. The truck driver is facing charges after causing serious damage to the back nine of a golf course in Ohio. According to ABC6, and I'm not going to try to pronounce this guy's name. It's an Indian name, and so I'm not going to try. Gurpreet, I think that's his first name. I'm not even going to try the last name. Entered the golf course in a semi-truck at the clubhouse and drove through the back nine of the course until he reached the 12th hole. A bridge at the 16th hole was destroyed in the incident. So he drove over a bridge that was probably built for golf carts, not even for cars. But, why not? Police were called to the scene and confronted the driver, who told officers he was lost. Police say he could not provide a coherent reason why he would be driving a semi-truck through a golf course. Now, I see this happen all the time. These guys rely solely on their GPS because they can't speak or read English very well. And if their GPS tells them to drive off into a field, by God, they'll do it. Now, I know what you're going to say. Yeah, but there's English-speaking drivers that do the same thing. You're right. Those are morons. There are people in cars who do it. There's a road in Hawaii. I was reading a story a while back where people regularly drive into the Pacific Ocean because their GPS tells them to. I get it. There's no excuse for those people except they're stupid. These guys can't read or comprehend English. So all they know is their GPS. But anyway, it gets better. The semi-truck had no license plate at the time of the incident, but police were able to identify the vehicle through its insurance card. The rig was reportedly involved in a crash the night before the golf course incident. So this guy's already been in a crash, and he's still going down the road, and now he's in a golf course. He refused to submit to a breath or urine test, but officers did locate unidentified pills in his truck cab. The pills have not yet been tested. They could be anything. I'm not going to bust on that. Who knows? He was arrested on charges of felony, fourth-degree vandalism, operating a vehicle while impaired, and prohibited acts while driving a commercial vehicle. I don't know what he was doing. Probably looking at his GPS, trying to figure out how to get out of there, and that's probably just piling on charges. The judge then ordered him released on a $500 bond. He was not allowed to travel except to and from his address in New York. A preliminary hearing has been set for May 16th. $500. I mean, he didn't hurt anyone. So, Here's another one. Right? Work visa revoked for driver in catastrophic Alabama crash. A woman left hanging upside down in her vehicle is the first to file a lawsuit in a deadly crash on Highway 43 involving a truck driver on a work visa. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the people who run to the lawyers, I'm not going to sit here and, I'm not going to say they're right or wrong. That drives me crazy. So I'm just telling you. The accident happened on Tuesday, May 6th, when 45-year-old, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name, crashed into 4 vehicles sitting at a red light in Thomasville, Alabama. The crash killed 2 people, injured 4 people, and landed the driver behind bars on manslaughter charges. Since then, his work visa has been revoked and the FBI has become actively involved in the case. His co-driver has also been interviewed by the FBI and ICE as the organizations work to investigate the case. Nancy Calvert has filed a lawsuit and his employers after suffering injuries in the crash. The suit was filed in the Clark County Circuit Court and names 4 U.S. Freight, 4 U.S. Transportation Company, 4 U.S. Corporation, and Andrill, whatever his last name is, as defendants. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It's the same thing with that guy down in Austin, right, who crashed into these people. I don't understand, and yes, it happens to American drivers, guys who are born and raised here, but it's rare. It's rare. But you see this all the time with foreign drivers over here. Now, that's not an English thing. That's a cultural thing, a lack of experience thing. But really, lack of experience, I mean, you can be fresh out of truck driving school. You know to stop at a red light. You know when you see traffic in front of you, stop, right? That should not require a degree in anything. You should not have to be able to work on rockets or do brain surgery or, contemplate the origin of the universe or split the atom or anything like that to know that when you see vehicles stopped at a red light, you should also come to a stop before you hit them. But here we are. And this is the problem. Now, we have overregulation in this industry that will not solve this problem. But that's what they'll go with. Well, I say that. This administration may not. Prior administrations would have said, ooh, we need more regulations. You don't need more regulations. There's already laws against this. You need to, number one, purge the country of these foreign drivers. We don't need them. We've got plenty of truck drivers in this country. We do not need these guys. Now, if you want to come over here and drive a truck, fine, fair enough. Read and speak English. Understand the traffic laws in this country. And understand that when you get up to a light or stop traffic, you also should stop before you run into anyone. But the guy driving into the golf course, we've seen this so many times. And like I said, we've seen American drivers do it because people rely on that GPS way too much. I remember delivering to a place in Pensacola, Florida years ago. And you had to get in there, you had to drive down along a fence line and then make a sharp left. If you went the way the GPS told you. If you used your brain and you looked at it on Google Maps or you called them, you could go down one street up, come down, make a left, and go straight into their place. And that's what I did. I think I looked it up on Google Maps and I said, yeah, that turn looks kind of hard right there. Let me go one street up anyway. So that's what I did. And I went in there, I think about the third time I'd been in there, their fence was laid over. And it's right there, there's a guard shack right there. And I asked the guard, I said, what happened to your fence? He said, I'll give you 3 letters. He said, GPS. He said, these guys follow their GPS and it tells them to make this turn. I said, well, you can't make that. He said, I know. But they'll do it twice. They've done it. And they'll rip this fence down. And when you ask them, why did you try to make that turn? They say, oh, my GPS told me to. Now, some of those guys were, I think one of the guys was foreign and one of them was, American born. So it happens. But we have enough morons in this country. We don't need to import them. We need to purge the industry of the foreign drivers who can't read or speak English. And we need to purge the industry of these idiot steering wheel holders who are just idiots. When I first started driving 30-something years ago, this was a rarity. It happened. Look, anytime you're dragging a trailer around, anytime you're driving, well, back then it was still mostly 48s, but then the 53s were coming along. You're dragging a 53-foot trailer around, things are going to happen, especially if you're in a large city or you're in a tight area. I'm up here in Alaska. I was pulling two 45-foot flatbeds around because you can legally do that in Alaska. You can pull long doubles up here. And driving around Anchorage, and you got to be careful. You got to be careful because you could very easily screw something up. It can happen. But it's becoming more, accident rates in the trucking industry are going up. They used to be going down, steadily, down. Now, I think the ELD has something to do with accidents going up. So my message to Secretary Duffy would be, number one, we really need to crack down on anyone who can't speak or read English, which apparently the Trump administration is doing already. Two, we need to revamp the hours of service laws. Get rid of that stupid 30-minute break, because that's what clogs up the fuel islands. When you go off duty, your clock should stop. Like up here in Alaska, you get 15 hours to drive, 20 hours to work. If I've got 5 hours left on my drive clock and I go off duty, I have 5 hours left on that drive clock until I hit my 10th hour off duty, and then I go back to 15 hours. There is no reason in the world. In what scenario should you go off duty and your on-duty clock keep ticking? Make that make sense. Well, I know why. The railroads, they have big lobbyists in Washington. They have deep pockets. And they do anything they can to sabotage the American trucking industry. They love these foreign drivers because the foreign drivers come in and they say, see, these guys are incompetent. You need to put more stuff on rail. I remember that organization, what is it, Citizens for Reliable and Safe Highways, crash. And they were talking about, the trucking industry and, it's dangerous and it needs to be regulated more and this and that. They were funded by the railroads. That's who funded them. But that's a story for another day. The English only thing. These are two examples why these guys need to be able to read and comprehend English and understand our traffic laws. And these guys seem to think that they can be on an electronic device, and I'm not saying that's what this guy was doing here. I don't know what he was doing. And not even look up. Never look up. I mean, look, let's face it. Most of us have used our phone while we're driving. I mean, I'm hands-free, but it happens. You get a call or whatever. But you're in town. There's obviously red lights. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't get it. But anyway, that's my take on a couple of stories of the day. We have to really, understand that this is not an anti-immigrant thing. If you come over to this country and you learn the language and you want to get a CDL and you can take that test and pass it in English, great. Because if I move to Mexico or if I move to Egypt or if I move to Libya, wherever, and I want to get a job, I am going to do my best to learn the language. because it's better for me and it's better for everyone around me. So that's my take. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching. I'm going to try to do more of this because I think as drivers, we really need to start speaking out and speaking up and letting everyone know that we don't like this. We don't like these guys doing this. This didn't used to happen on such a regular basis. Like I said, there's always stuff that happens out there. Cars getting accidents every day, trucks getting accidents every day. But things like this were such a rarity when I started driving. And I understand people in cars have gotten stupider as well. But I can't control that. I can only control my truck. We have a guy right here where I work. Somebody pulled right out in front of him. Bam, he slammed right into him. Wasn't his fault. Wasn't our driver's fault. The guy just didn't even look. Just went right through a stop sign, didn't even look, pulled right out in front of him. Luckily, we have a camera facing out. We don't have those perv cams facing in, but we have the camera facing out. And so, that was good. But so things happen, I can't control what people in cars do. They're idiots, a lot of them. Not all of them, but, Anyway, we've got to put an end to this madness. The trucking industry's got to stop hiring anyone with a pulse. And I don't understand, you got to stop over-regulating it to where the good drivers leave. The guys with experience just get out because they've had enough, But anyway, that's it for now. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.